Hi, my name's Evan Baltz, and I'm a marketing technology leader and a team builder. And I'm going to share with you some keys to being a successful manager. If you don't have the time to watch the video, you can read my articles on LinkedIn. Be happy to receive your comments there as well. The number one thing that's most important about being a good manager or a good leader is being authentic. That means just having a conversation with the people who work for you rather than pretending or acting like a manager, putting on a manager suit and walking and talking like a manager or like you think a manager should talk. You're authentic. You're just who you are. Have you ever sat in a one-on-one with your manager and it sounds like they're reading off a list of how to be a good manager 101 script? It's not authentic. They're pretending, they're acting, they're saying things that they think they should say as a manager. And when you do that, you fail to connect with the person that you're talking to. You have to just look them in the eye and talk to them, just like we're talking right now. It should be casual, informal, honest, and authentic. You have to just ask them questions that you're interested about and listen to them. And we'll talk more about listening in a future podcast. Now, don't get me wrong, management training courses and books and all of that, they're great. They're fine. They can be helpful on some levels. They can show you some mistakes that you might make. I think the best way to learn how to be a good manager is to be under a good manager or to be under a really bad manager and know what you don't want to do. I've had both of those experiences, by the way. But you have to be engaging and authentic, and you just have to have a conversation with your employee. If you don't, you fail to connect with them, and that's a huge mistake. Employees want to be able to build trust with you. They want to know that you speak your mind. They want to know that you're honest with them. They don't want to feel like they're being talked down to. They don't want to feel like they're being talked at. They want to feel like they're having a conversation with somebody that they can trust. And most people can tell when they're being talked down to. And nothing turns off an employee more is when they feel like they're being talked to like they're a kindergarten. It's very demeaning and it lacks that trust building element. Uh, it's if you're not doing it in person and you're doing it online, you even have to connect more with somebody. You're just the Brady Bunch box on their screen. And so you really have to lean in and talk to them like a human being. You just need to be yourself. You just need to talk. Maybe pretend like you're just having a dinner conversation with somebody, or better yet, just listen to them. Ask them what's on their mind and listen to what they say and go off of that and have a conversation. Don't come in thinking, oh, I've got a list of things that I need to make sure that they understand or that they hear me, or I'm going to tell them this and that, or how they're going to be better. Just have a conversation with them. You'll be amazed at how that over time builds trust. I worked with a guy recently and he came over from another organization. And I think he had had kind of a negative experience. He had some baggage with him. And as we talked the first couple of times, I said, look, you're not going to know whether you can trust me or not. I get it. And you'll probably be careful, and your conversation with me will probably be guarded. But in 3 months or 6 months, you'll know that you can trust me and we can just talk. But I understand it's going to take some time. And you just keep building on that week after week and meeting after meeting and make sure that you don't change. If you're in a meeting with your team, talk the same way. If you're meeting in a one-on-one, talk the same way. If there's VPs in the room, talk the same way. Be the same person so they know they can trust what you're saying and what you're feeling. Have you had any experiences, negative or positive? The worst experience I ever had was a manager who talked down to me. I don't get offended very easily. Hey, I'm Gen X. Things just roll off, right? Talking down to me, that's the one that'll get under my skin a little bit. I just want to have a conversation and I want to know that what I say is going to be taken in confidence, that you're not going to take it out of context, that you're going to try to understand the background, the things, the experiences that I've had. But just having that conversation with people Don't come into it with an agenda. You might have some topics in mind. Hey, I want to talk about this new web page that we're launching, or I want to talk about your writing style, whatever it might be. Have it as a topic, not as a question. I was recently watching a Joe Rogan podcast, and what I appreciated about the way that he handled that over the course of 3 hours was he didn't really have an agenda for the conversation. He had some topics, he had some thoughts that he wanted to share, but he listened to the other person and just talked to them. And it was fascinating. In fact, on one of these podcasts, I thought, well, I'll put it on as I'm going to sleep. I'll probably get 10 minutes and I'll doze off and won't hear the rest. I listened to the whole 3 hours. I was up until 2 o'clock in the morning. I thought it was fascinating because it was just two guys talking. And that ultimately was something that you could trust. They were speaking from the heart. They weren't going off of notes or anything. They were speaking from the heart. And if I can challenge you to do anything, is when you talk to your employees and you're being truly who you are and authentic and saying what you feel and not necessarily watching your words, the person in the other Zoom screen or the person who's sitting across the desk from you will start to appreciate that and will start to respond in kind. It's something that you can build over time where you can really get to what the needs are of that individual person. But it takes time. It's not just one meeting, it's not just one on one. You have to be who you are all the time. And being true to yourself, being transparent, being authentic, these are the values that people will pick up on and they'll respond in kind and they will feel like they can trust you. And that's something that's really important. You break trust with somebody, it'll take months and months and months to build that back. So it's crucial that you're always authentic. Sometimes people say, well, what if it's a difficult topic? Or what if it's a subject about something that we don't like about the organization or whatnot? If you start to sound like you're just repeating some talking points that HR gave you, you will break their trust. They will go into the same mode that you're in, and you won't have an authentic conversation. You won't hear the truth. And there's nothing more important for you and your employee to share together is to talk about where things really are, what the truth is. You can't solve problems. You can't understand what the issues are. You don't know where the concerns are unless you're having an honest and open and authentic conversation. That's the number one thing on my list. Next week, we'll talk about another topic. Hope you appreciate it. Like I said, check me out on LinkedIn. You can read all of these articles there and interact with them in the comments section. And I'd love to hear from you. We'll see you.